You couldn't ask for a more beautiful weather night in downtown Cincinnati. Clear skies, crowd rolling in for Game 2 of this 3-game series between division rivals, nearby rivals. The Pirates in town to take on the Cincinnati Reds. Hi again, everybody, alongside the Cowboy, Jeff Brantley and Jim Day. I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Reds baseball. And, you know, it seems we're at the point now in this season, much like it was with Cueto, not comparing the two, but, you know, whenever Raisel Iglesias gets a ball for the Reds now, you get really excited.
I do, too. I'm telling you, I love the passion of this kid. I love to watch him pitch, and the numbers would dictate that. I know that things didn't get off to the best start for Iglesias. He had a little bit of lull as far as the disabled list. But, boy, in his last few starts, he has been outstanding. Arm angles all over the place, knees, elbows, and very difficult to read. Even guys that try to sit on that breaking ball, they ultimately end up coming up empty. You start looking for the breaking ball, and then he comes with this bad boy. Yaha!
You look at his last 7 starts. This goes back to when the month of August began. And you see that opponent's batting average against? That is the lowest among all pitchers in Major League Baseball. 55 strikeouts, only 13 walks. Now, his mound opponent tonight is a guy the Reds are very familiar with and a talented pitcher in his own right, the veteran Francisco Liriano.
Yeah, you look at Liriano, and immediately you look at those numbers and you think, well, boy, he sure did pitch a great game against Cueto in that one-game playoff, but yet this is not playoffs. This is regular season, and during the regular season, he has struggled mightily against the Reds. Let's hope that continues.
And we'll hope it continues indeed. When we come back, you may have missed the big news. The schedule for next year is out. Jim Day will give you some of the highlights, and he'll also tell you about some of the new faces with the big league club getting on board tonight. Our main man, Jim Day, standing by. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.
USA.com. By Chevy. Check out their award-winning lineup only at your Tri-State Chevy dealer. And by Skyline Chili. Feeling good? It's Skyline time.
What are we playing for this time of year? I'll tell you what we're playing for this time of year. We're playing for the young guys. They're getting out there. They're playing hard. We're seeing who wants to be around for next year. I love this time of year. Warm, humid, 86, dropping down to 78. If thunderstorms develop, they'll be extraordinarily isolated in nature. I think most areas remaining dry, including the ballpark. Mostly clear skies. Once again, down to about 78. Let's go, Reds. Let's put some on the board tonight. Give those young pitchers a little bit of help. Just like that. Enjoy the game, everyone, on Fox Sports Ohio.
I'm Jim Day on the field. It will be a full complement of Reds in the dugout tonight because there are guys back from the DL, and now that the minor league seasons are over, at least in AAA, all of the September call-ups are finally here. Reinstated from the disabled list, Billy Hamilton did make it back from Pensacola today. Brennan Bosch back from AAA. And these players are September call-ups. We all know about Tony Cingrani. Brandon Finnegan is the interesting one, the lefty that came over in the Johnny Cueto deal. He will be used out of the bullpen, at least to start with. Josh Smith is back, as well as Christopher Negron. The other big story from today, the 2016 Major League schedule was announced, and let's take a look at some highlights. The season opener, as always, at home. This year or next year, it will be against the Phillies April 4th. And interleague games will include, of course, Cleveland. And it's the American League West year for the NL Central. The Reds will host Seattle, Oakland, and Texas, and will go, in addition to Cleveland, they'll go to Houston, Texas, and the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. And in September, as expected, 26 of the 29 games will be against the National League Central. That's 2016. Still some to play in 2015. Reds go for their third straight victory. Up next, it is the Cowboy Jeff Brantley alongside my man, Tom Brennan.
On this Tuesday night. Hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. Let's take a look at a Pirates starting lineup. Their manager is Clint Hurdle. Gregory Polanco to lead it off in right field. Starling Marte is in left with Andrew McCutchen in center. Aramis Ramirez at first base tonight. Gung down at third. Walker at second. Cervelli, the regular catcher, back in there after a day off yesterday. Jordy Mercer, the shortstop. And Liriano on the mound, making his 17th Major League appearance. His 15th Major League start has turned into I guess, a co-ace along with Anthony DeSclafani is Raisel Iglesias.
I think you look back to August 1st, the game against Pittsburgh really started to turn things for one Raisel Iglesias. That's where this 7-game dominant streak began.
All right, here we go. Polanco. A .259 batter, 7 home runs, 41 batted in, and he looks at a fastball. Strike one, says James Hoy, our home plate umpire, and this one underway. Bill Welke, the crew chief, works at first base. Laz Diaz at second. John Trumpaine, the umpire, down at third. Hit off the end of the bat, foul. It's quickly 0-2 on Polanco. The Pirates come in. 81 wins, 55 losses, the second most wins among all teams in the National League. Yet they are 5.5 games behind the team in front of them in the Central, the St. Louis Cardinals. The Reds 57 up, 79 down. They've won back-to-back games for the first time since early August. Still 0-2 on Polanco. Talked about Iglesias. He has fanned 10 or more in each of his last 3 starts. 13, 10, and 10. 13 coming in a loss, strangely enough, against Arizona here at Great American Ballpark. But you go back to August the 1st, what Cowboy talked about. 6 2/3, 4 hits, 2 runs. That was in a win over these Pirates. He's not allowed more than 4 hits in any game since then, and only twice has he allowed even 4.
It's amazing, Tom. It's the 2 of the 3 losses that Iglesias had. He only allowed 1 earned run in those 2 losses. Pitched outstanding. I love this guy's passion.
Pulled to the right side, and Votto will gobble it up. That takes care of Polanco on to lead off the ball game. And let's take a look at the Reds on defense, presented by Ford. Duvall again, the nod out in left field. Bourgeois in center, Jay Bruce in right. The regular cast of infielders: Frazier, Suarez, Phillips, and Votto. And Brian Pena's been working beautifully, Cowboy, with Raisel Iglesias. They clearly have a good thing going.
Evidently, they had a real good thing going with Johnny Cueto, because Johnny's struggling a little bit over in a Kansas City Royal.
You're not lying about that.
Catchers don't quite get enough credit for their game-calling ability.
That ball scalded into right center field off the bat of Marte. That'll one-hop the wall, and he is cruising into second base. And now he's coming to third as Bourgeois bobbled the ball. Here comes the throw, and the error will cost the Reds an extra base. Bourgeois went to pick it up. Could not find the handle, and give Marte credit. He didn't just pull the chute. He turned on the speed, and he's at third with 1 out in the inning.
Watch this pitch here. It's supposed to be away, and it's a spinner that just stays back inside. And boy, did he hit that one. An inside-out swing, as you see with Votto or with a guy like Starling Marte. When they're inside the ball, those balls that are middle in, those are the ones they square up awfully well. And this guy that's coming to the plate now, same type of hitter.
So the Reds are going to bring the infield in here in the opening inning. McCutchen, the batter. And a breaking ball starts him out, strike 1. 302 the batting average, 20 home runs, 85 batted in. McCutchen got off to such a dreadful start, playing injured the first month and a half of the year, but has really turned it on. Look at those numbers with runners in scoring position. 380 batter with 60 runs batted in. Not sure where that missed. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now, in the advanced analytics, the folks that have all of the sabermetric numbers, they don't call that clutch hitting. They call that high leverage hitting. He's up there on Mount Everest.
They didn't change the name of that mountain too, did they?
I don't think so. I hope not. Denali. How do you like me now? Not good.
All right, 1-2 on McCutchen. Infield in. Frazier right next to Marte over at the bag. Suarez cheating a little closer to where Frazier would play. And here's a 1-2 coming. Oh boy, that's 2 pitches in this at bat that have been called balls. It puts a look of disbelief on the face of Brian Price. Oh, look at 2 and 4 there.
Now the whole ball does not have to be on the plate. You could have just the edge of the red seam on the plate, and technically that's a strike.
There's strike 3.
Well, that's a pretty good drop down heater right here, and he ran it right back. He made sure he got that ball on the plate.
It's 95.
Downside Laredo.
You ever spend any time in Laredo?
I have. They cut a lot of sod down in that neck of the woods.
All right, now the infield backs up. 2 are out, and here's Aramis Ramirez. No easy out. He has been a clutch hitter, especially at 2 outs, 2 strikes in at-bats throughout his entire what has been an outstanding major league career. And this will be the final season of baseball for Aramis Ramirez. He's already made the decision that he will retire at season's end.
And he hits the breaking ball well deep into the count.
0-1 delivery. And there's strike 2. 96 miles per hour with that fastball.
We've not seen Iglesias reaching up into that neck of the woods either. 96 with movement. Normally, as you get higher in velocity, the ball starts to straighten out.
Look at those numbers in the career of Ramirez. Almost 390 home runs. Swing and a miss, and that is vintage Raisel Iglesias. Runner at third and 1 out in the inning. Strikes out McCutchen first, Ramirez next. The Reds will bat in a scoreless game. Pitching by Raisel Iglesias to end the top half. Here's Brian Price's starting lineup presented by Meyer. Jason Bourgeois, the leadoff man, trots up from the dugout. He's set to go. Be followed by Eugenio Suarez. And then Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, Todd Frazier, Jay Bruce. A ladder third of Adam Duvall, Brian Pena, and Iglesias. Francisco Liriano, a 9-game winner. Solid ERA. Closing in on 160 innings pitched so far this year. Bourgeois 237, a pair of home runs, 11 batted in. And he takes low and in for ball one. Bourgeois' on base percentage, he's been playing pretty regularly. Only a 280. He was in a pretty good stretch there for a while and has struggled here lately, and this should be an easy out on the pop-up to Polanco. One away. The Pirates on defense behind Liriano. Brought to you by Ford. Their regular outfield back at it tonight. Marte, McCutchen, and Polanco. Gunn down at third. Ramirez moves over to first. Walker and Mercer up the middle. Liriano and Cervelli the battery.
Big key for the Reds offense tonight. When they get runners in scoring position or runners on base, Liriano likes to go to that changeup cutter in on the right-hander combination. You can lay off that cutter, that hard slider down and in. You can make him come over the plate with something you can hammer.
Suarez just continues to impress. He comes in at 291, and he has rung up on the appeal down to first base, so he has gone quickly on 3 pitches. 2 away in the inning for Joey Votto. And he did go around.
You watch Cervelli behind the plate, a young catcher. One of the reasons that the Pirates got him over here to take over for Russell Martin. When he catches the ball, it's almost as though his wrist could handle 2,000 pounds. He doesn't move that mitt at all, and that helps you get the call from the umpire, even on a borderline pitch.
You know, it is so rare anymore, and it's been going on for a long time, as Votto has 1 ball and 1 strike on him with 2 outs and nobody on, that, you know, the last time the Yankees truly had a great run as a franchise, Joe Torre had taken over in '96, and of course they won the whole thing, and then they would win it again in '99 and 2000, got beaten 0-1. But you know, the core of that team were all guys that the Yankees produced from their farm system. I mean, it was a core group of Jeter and Bernie Williams and Jorge Posada. Of course, Mariano Rivera, Andy Pettit, among others, as Votto is hit by a pitch with 2 outs. That was a fastball at 93 miles per hour. Before we get back to that, let's see where this thing hit him. Right above the right elbow. Well, you know, Cowboy, to finish that thought, I mean, they, right around the 2003 season, when they lost that World Series, they've always been big spenders, but they were giving guys in their system a chance to make it to the big leagues, earn an everyday job in the big leagues, and stay with the franchise for a long, long time. And even guys they picked up from other places, i.e. Paul O'Neill, among others, Tino Martinez. You know, they kept those guys around for a long time, but now you would be very hard-pressed to find a player on the Yankees that is a product of their system. And Cervelli is a guy that, you know, you wonder, why would you get rid of a guy like that? But they spent themselves into oblivion with Brian McCann.
Exactly.
Of course, they're printing money there in the Bronx.
Right, and not every franchise can do that. Very few can. But I think when you bring guys up through your system that have had success, not just guys at random order, but
sure,
guys that have played together and had success, and those guys had success in the minor leagues. When you win in the minor leagues, it starts to build confidence and being comfortable with one another. And it builds camaraderie. Now, I know this game is about individual statistics. It has always been about that. But collectively as a group, you still have to go by how many wins you have and how many losses. And more times than not, those individual statistics are great, but that camaraderie puts you over the top.
Base hit left field by Brandon Phillips. Votto advances 90 feet. So 2-out noise here in the Reds opening inning for Todd Frazier.
Well, how many times have we seen it, Tom, here in the last 10 days, 2 weeks, maybe even longer than that? Votto aboard, Phillips aboard, and then they stand there. You get guys on, you got to be able to get them in. And that ultimately is what comes down to why you lose a ball game in the case of Raisel Iglesias when you give up 1 earned run in 2 of the ball games that you've lost.
Boy, Frazier has just continued to struggle so mightily since the All-Star break. You go back after that final game in Miami leading up to the break, he was sitting at 56 runs batted in the first 86 games of the year. He has only knocked in 22 runs since in the ensuing 50 games the Reds have played. Fly ball center field, and the Reds will strand a pair in the first inning. End of 1, no score. More of the same getting started here tonight for Raisel Iglesias. Over the last 3 starts, only Clayton Kershaw has fanned more batters than Iglesias, 33. Look at the names on that list. Who's hotter than Jake Arrieta right now? Picked up his league-leading 18th victory his last time out. Iglesias has already picked up a pair of strikeouts, both coming with a runner at third in the opening inning tonight. Ball 1. Young Ho Gun playing third base, 286 batter, 13 home runs, 51 batted in.
You and I were talking, Tom. You look back, and there were a couple of games in this 7-run streak for Iglesias before the San Diego ball game in San Diego. Reds were on a really rough stretch. But Iglesias gave up 3 runs in that first inning, and he was not happy. I mean, you could tell on the mound he was just upset because he wanted to have a good ball game for the club. From that day forward, it looks like he has come to the mound every single day saying, okay, this is my day. You guys follow me. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put us in a chance to win every single time I go out. I'm going to give you everything I've got as far as I can go. That's the kind of starter you want on the mound. And that's the reference that you made to Johnny Cueto. That's how he pitched here.
Little number out in front of the plate. Rizzo will pick it up. One away in the inning.
Whether position players will tell you or not, when you've got a guy on the mound that is aggressive, he works quick, he's going after guys, you can sense that intensity on the mound. It raises your level of awareness and just your game level on the field. That's why all these aces win a lot of ball games, because the team that is playing behind them, they raise their game.
Something appeared momentarily there to be wrong with Iglesias after he picked up the ball and threw the runner out. Pena stopped him for a minute to talk to him. Suarez clearly sensed something, because he came in from shortstop and twice asked Iglesias something, almost as if saying, "You okay?" 1-1 strike on the second baseman, Neil Walker. Had a weird look to it there for a minute. You see Iglesias kind of catching his breath, taking an extra moment or two before he starts walking back, and then he'll nod out at Suarez again, who had asked him a couple of times, perhaps seeing what we just saw. He's come back to get ahead 1-2.
And I think part of that too, Tom, is you saw how quick Iglesias got to the baseball. A high adrenaline play. You're trying to get in there. You're rushing in. You make the throw to first. Everybody takes that for granted, but when you get back to the mound, you want to settle back into your normal pitch routine and rhythm. That's why a lot of times you see a pitcher come to the plate. He has to run to first base. The guy that's on deck figures out something else to do besides come to the plate. You just want to give your pitcher a little bit of extra time to let that adrenaline settle back down so they can get back to doing what they do best.
He settled back down all right. He takes care of Walker. That's his third strikeout, and the first two are retired in the Pirates' second inning. He is really throwing hard tonight.
Hit 96 earlier, this one 95, and that's tonight's flamethrower. Brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce. Smoke it.
Do you put that stuff on just about everything you eat?
I like it on my eggs, believe it or not.
Oh, I believe it.
Tell you what's really good is when you're making your marinade for a chicken or a brisket or maybe like some ribs. You put it in the marinade, gives it just the perfect zone.
Very nice. Breaking ball away. Now you're not dumping the go back to the egg thing though for a minute. You're not putting like salsa and hot sauce in it, are you?
No. I actually take ketchup and the hot sauce and mix it up, and then I kind of dip my scrambled eggs in it. It's really good.
Okay. All right. 1-1.
Tell you what, there have been a lot of calls missed here in the early going. But Iglesias not showing any signs of frustration, still just making pitches.
Pretty tight. 2-1 on Cervelli. Came over the top with that delivery.
And most of the pitches that we're seeing missed are balls that are starting just off the outside corner, and they're coming back. And this is where Iglesias drops down sidearm and bringing the ball back to the plate.
Breaking ball misses wide, and that's the first walk of the game by Iglesias. So now the number 8 hitter Jordy Mercer will settle in. Mercer has lost his regular job as a Pirates shortstop.
You watch Cervelli hit in that at bat. Front shoulder always in, looking like he's trying to shoot the ball the other way. Maybe the Reds need to go back in hard on his hands, change that approach a little bit, because he was able to take that ball a little too comfortable, and that was a pretty good breaking ball.
Mercer has really swung the bat well since coming back from the disabled list. He was on the DL for over a month.
Well, you watch how Mercer's standing now compared to where he was a year ago. As he approaches the plate, he lets that bat rest on his shoulder. Takes a little bit of tension out of the hands and the arms, allows him to relax a little bit before the ball comes. As the pitcher starts to come to the plate, he'll raise that bat up a little bit.
No balls, 2 strikes on Mercer. Runner at first, 2 outs. And a tapper over the mound. Suarez is there to the bag, and that's all for the Pirates. 1 man left. Middle of the second, no score.
I'm Jim Day. I'm out here on the riverboat deck, and coming up the end of September 26th and 27th, it's the final week for the Kentucky Speedway. We've got a very special guest. Those Reds fans down in Louisville probably know this guy. He's Ben Rhodes. He's an 18-year-old Xfinity driver, hails from Louisville, and happens to drive the number 88 for Dale Earnhardt Jr. That has to be my first question. How cool is it to drive for a guy like Dale Jr.?
What an experience. You know, I've grown up watching this guy, rooting him on the racetrack. I remember when he was driving the 8 car, he went to the 88, and now I'm driving a car with the number 88, and I share it with him. I can't even imagine it. It was a dream of mine, and I'm here.
Tell me about being from Louisville. Obviously, Sparta right up the road. So would you consider Kentucky Speedway your home track?
Oh, yeah. Kentucky Speedway is my home track for sure. It's the closest track to me. It's got the Kentucky name in it, which is great for everybody. And I will say our Kentucky crowd is going to be there. I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I know my main sponsor, Alpha Energy Solutions, is working closely with them. We're trying to get as many people out to the racetrack as possible, promoting it heavy. And we really just want to have a lot of friendly faces in the stands when we have driver intros and out cheer the other drivers.
The Xfinity Series, there is a base hit into left field. There's a ton of up-and-coming drivers like yourself, but there's also a lot of veterans in the series, so there's a big mix. What's it like being an 18-year-old driving against all these guys that some are in their 30s, even 40s?
Well, you know, first off, I want to say I'm pretty fortunate for the position I'm in. A lot of work gone into it, but these guys are tough and rough. They will make moves that I didn't think they would make, and from the background that I'm in, it was save your stuff until 40, 50, 30 laps to go, and it was war. But now it's war every single lap, and I've got to get used to that.
Well, speaking of rough and tough, Kentucky Speedway actually promotes the fact that it's the roughest track on the circuit. There are a ton of bumps, and it has a lot of character. I know you haven't driven in the Xfinity Series, but you've driven in the ARCA Series there. So what's it going to be like on that track?
Well, I've got to say, it's just like they promote it. It's really rough, and you have to time your passes just right and navigate those bumps and set your car up to get around them right. Guys that know how to get around the bumps and exploit them usually run the best.
Well, guys, if you follow a driver, file away the name Ben Rhodes, an 18-year-old driving for Dale Jr. Ben, lots of luck.
Thank you so much. That was blessed.
All right. And also come up again September 26th, 27th. It's the final race weekend at Kentucky Speedway. Log on to KentuckySpeedway.com for ticket information. Tom?
Jim, thank you. And Ben, the very best of luck to you, young man. I mean, he barely looks old enough to have his license, cowboy, and he's cutting it loose.
Well, he must have some serious gumption to get behind the wheel of one of those cars and race for those.
You know what I want to know?
What?
Can he beat you?
He can beat me.
I don't know about that.
I do. I told you that. I drive the speed limit.
What speed limit? The Autobahn?
The marked speed limit for the given track that I'm on.
All right. Fair enough. 1 and 2 on Adam Duvall after that base hit by Bruce to start the inning, and Duvall gone on that breaking ball down and in. Strikeout number 2 for Francisco Liriano. We are scoreless here in the last of the second inning on a beautiful night for baseball in Cincinnati.
This is the signature pitch from Liriano, that hard slider down and in. It has been his signature pitch since he came up to the big leagues with the Minnesota Twins years ago. He's developed a changeup, better location with the fastball, but when it gets rough, that's his go-to pitch.
Here's Brian Pena. And he's quickly behind on the fastball. Strike one. Brian at 276. 15 doubles, 17 runs batted in. Reds and Pirates have one more game in this series. That's tomorrow night. And then the Cardinals come to town for a 4-game weekend series starting Thursday night. Cardinals and the Cubs play game 2 of that series after the Cubs stomped all over the Cardinals in the series opener yesterday. Dan Herron pitching brilliantly for Chicago. So the Cubbies picked up ground on both the Cardinals and really in their immediate sights, as we talked a little bit about last night, would be these Pirates, because right now both teams would qualify as a 2 wild card entrance to the National League postseason, and going into play tonight, only a 2-game spread between the Pirates and the Cubbies. In the air, left center field will hang up long enough for McCutchen to get there for the second out of the inning, and Bruce stays put at first base.
Well, the one thing that I do like about the way that the schedule plays out is in the month of September, most of your ball games in every division are played against your interdivision opponents, which allows you that head-to-head competition. Now, if your division's weak, well, so be it. But at least in the National League Central, very difficult division, you've got 3 teams that are pretty much playoff bound with the Cubs, Pirates, and the Cardinals. You've got a chance to make some moves if you can beat the folks ahead of you.
Iglesias has 2 hits in 27 at bats, a triple, a run batted in. He's behind strike 1. I mean, you've got this starting up right now. I mean, the Cubs and the Cardinals in the Central. Game 2 tonight. You have the Mets and the Nationals. Washington out to a 3-1 lead after the Mets. That was an incredible game yesterday. Back and forth. The Mets would take the lead. The Nationals would get it back. Ultimately won by the New York Mets, and they enjoy a 5-game lead over Washington in the East. The Dodgers are running away and hiding from the Giants. That baby is knocking on the door of being all but wrapped up. 1-2. That is now an 8.5 game spread between the Dodgers and the defending world champions.
I think it spelled doom for the Giants when they lost Hunter Pence for the second time. He has always really been a fire starter for that ball club, not only from an emotional standpoint, but from an offensive standpoint. And without him being able to play, you lose Pagan. I mean, they've got a whole different outfield out there than what we've seen in years past.
2-2. You know, those trades are funny. I mean, ultimately, you're going to be judged. How did you do in the regular season? So, you know, the Giants went out and got Mike Leake. They brought Marlon Byrd. But ultimately, it looks like those deals are going to come up short. We'll see about Kansas City depending on Mr. Cueto in the postseason. No score as we go to the third.
Be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
We invite you to join the Reds in saluting our heroes Friday, September 11th during Police and Fire Appreciation Night. We'll have special pregame ceremonies, and after the game, the big fireworks show presented by Corson Fire and Security. Tickets start as low as $12. We'll look forward to seeing you. Speaking of heroes, and we talk about it frequently, those still living that served this great country of ours in World War II, there are more of them within a 90-mile radius of Cincinnati than any other major metropolitan city in the country. And moments ago, Earl Conklin, who served in Okinawa, was injured in the battlefield, spent 3 weeks in a hospital, and back he went to the front. Congratulations. God bless you, young man. He looks good, too, doesn't he? 94.
I thought that was a misprint on the board when it has said 94.
And we thank you for your service, sir. Not only him, but those that have served, are serving, and those that will serve. We can't thank you enough. Scoreless game. We open the third. Pitcher against pitcher. Back to the top of the order, Polanco and Marte to follow Liriano. 2 balls and no strikes. Reds 2 hits, stranded 3. Pirates 1 hit, and they have left 2. Iglesias will walk in, 3 strikeouts through the front 2. And he's fallen behind a pitcher 3-0.
Trying to take a little too much off of it to get it over here to the pitcher Liriano.
Liriano 6 hits and 54 at bats. He does have 7 runs batted in, a double and a home run for Liriano. Well, he jumps all over this pitch. A high fastball, and one hops it over the wall in right center field. Wow.
Normally a pitcher would not even swing at this pitch. Ball is up around his helmet and he just tomahawks it. Check that out. Hiya.
Second double, third extra base hit of his season for Liriano. And now back to the top of the order in Polanco. Now the Reds, at least Frazier, not quite sure of what Polanco might be up to. Normally with a pitcher running, you rarely see teams put down a bunt. But Frazier is creeping in on the grass at third as it's ball 1 to Polanco, who, by the way, does not have a single sacrifice this entire year.
Pretty good changeup right there. That ball started middle in. Polanco saw it as a fastball. You could see the hips and the hands coming forward in a hurry.
Came back with a little more mustard on it. Not his best fastball by any means, but had good movement on it to get ahead at 1-2. Polanco pulled the ball to the right side leading off the game when he grounded out to Joey Votto, and that was on a 2-strike pitch. It's 1-2 here with a runner at second and none out. And he pulls it to the right side. Into right field a hit. Liriano being waved around. Here comes a throw by Bruce. Not going to be in time. It's cut off, and it's 1-0 Pirates.
I don't think this is where Iglesias or Pena wanted that pitch. It was elevated a bit out over the plate. I think that ball even surprised Brandon Phillips, which happens very few times.
Polanco drives in his 42nd run of the year. 2 hits, a run, nobody out. 23 stolen bases in 33 attempts by Polanco. And here's Marte. He hammered a pitch to the right center field gap for a double. His only time up. And that's where Iglesias wanted the pitch. It wound up over the middle of the plate, which Marte doubled on in that first inning at bat. This Pirates outfield, this is a dynamic group. I mean, they felt as recently as 2 years ago, knowing Polanco and Marte were coming up. Marte already was up, but he was a first-year player. You know, Polanco had his ups and downs last season. Boy, did he finish red hot. There's a base hit into left field. So now the third of that trio is coming up after hits by Polanco and Marte. But look at some of these numbers. Compare the two outfields. The Pirates hitting better than 50 points on a batting average. Well beyond that in on base percentage. And over 30 more runs batted in. 6th most.
And they hit 1, 2, 3 in the lineup. So not only are they hitting the ball, they've got some speed as well. They cover a lot of ground out there in that outfield.
Three consecutive hits to open up this Pirate third inning. 2 on, none out for McCutchen, who struck out with a runner at third in the first inning. And this ball is hammered to right field, and the Pirates lead 4-0. This is the most hits and the most runs that Iglesias has allowed in any start, going all the way back to the end of July.
And you say to yourself, well, that's not that bad of a pitch. But if you look back, going all the way back to Liriano, every pitch that has been hit in this inning has been away, away, away. If you do that the first time through the lineup, you have to establish inside sometime. Veteran hitters are going to lean out over the plate, and that's what the Pirates are doing here.
McCutchen, 21 home runs, now 88 runs batted in. I mean, there is no disputing. You know, there might be a lot of teams you can bounce around baseball and you can say, well, okay, who's the leader of their team? And not only the leader of playing well, but the leader in the clubhouse when times are good, when times are bad. And on a lot of teams, you could probably have some debate as to who that guy is. On the Pirate team, there's no debate on who that guy is. He is the man.
Number 22. Plays right there in center field.
Breaking ball swung on and missed by Aramis Ramirez. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
You could almost see McCutchen as he touched his chest. Think about it. He's not coming in, and he pointed out away. That's exactly where he hit it.
That one hit off the end of the bat, popped up into short left field. That'll be handled by Duvall. 1 away. McCutchen has now hit 24 home runs in his career against the Reds, which are the most against any team in his career. In fact, you go back to the start of 09, the 24 homers against the Reds are the most by any player in the major leagues.
If you think about it, Tom, a lot of those home runs have been over the head of Jay Bruce.
Yep.
They're not balls that have been pulled over the left field fence or dead center. They've been out of right field, so he really stays over and gets great plate coverage. I think that's one of the reasons that whenever McCutchen does get hit, there's such a major reaction in that Pirates dugout and for a Pirates pitcher, is because they want him to be able to take that ball and drive it the other way. That's his natural swing.
3-0 now to Gung with 1 out and 4 runs home here in this Pirate third inning. This ball stung to straightaway center field and flies over the head of Bourgeois, and Gung with a double.
Right now, the Pirates are coming to the plate. They are forgetting about the inside part of the plate. They are looking middle away, and they are teeing off. You watch where this pitch is. It is out over the plate. It's elevated, and it's hammered.
Jeff Pico, the Reds pitching coach, coming out to visit with Raisel Iglesias. Now, he's allowed 5 hits in this inning. I mean, forget the total game. He's allowed more hits just in this third inning than he has allowed in any start, going all the way back to the final week of July. So, I mean, sooner or later, you're going to have a hiccup. That is not to say that Rysell, starting right now, can't start to settle in and pitch some shutout baseball for the next number of innings and give your team a chance to come back. Pulled to the right side by Walker. He'll be thrown out by Brandon. On the third goes Gunn. 2 out. Well, we invite you to tweet your strongest fan photo. You use hashtag #OhioDataStrongFan. We might put it on the tube. It's brought to you by T-Mobile. We will have a T-Mobile Data Strong Fan of the game photo coming up later. Reds have action in their bullpen. Just brought up, we told you he was on the way with 3 others near the end of the game last night. Right-hander Josh Smith. Cowboy, we saw him earlier this year.
Made a few starts, as a matter of fact.
Cervelli drew a walk his first time up. Runner at third, 2 away, and the 1-1 is a fastball under the knees. 2 balls and a strike. Cervelli 6 home runs and even 300 batting, but is not afraid to take a walk. So on base percentage up close to 380. There's nothing wrong with that now. Guy hitting down near the bottom of your batting order. And he looks that one all the way into the mid of Pena for strike 2. A lot of people were really wondering, because Russell Martin, as you brought up earlier, he was a good leader for this team. And many wonder when he signed that big contract, an unbelievable contract really, with Toronto, that would be a big hit for the Pirates. Well, they obviously knew what they were doing. There's a balk that's going to bring in a run. I think Iglesias got away with one earlier in the game, but not this time. That makes it 5-0.
Definitely out of sorts, out of rhythm. You could see Pena going through the signs. And as soon as Iglesias dropped his head to look in, the balk was called.
Five runs here in the Pirate third inning, and a 5-0 lead as Iglesias tries to finish off Cervelli, the 8th man to bat in this Pirate third frame, and their strike 3 call. But a 5 spot for the Buccos. Reds have work to do. McCutchen, a 3-run home run for the Pirates. run top of this third inning. Tomorrow on Reds Weekly, what are Joey Votto's teammates saying about his strong second half? Jim Day's hanging with his main man, Brandon Phillips. They're going to walk through some of his spectacular defensive plays this year. And Brian Giesenslaw catches up with the Reds' #1 prospect, Robert Stevenson. Jeff Pecoro and Doug Flynn, an all-new Reds Weekly tomorrow at 6 right here on Fox Sports Ohio. So, Jim Day, tell me, you have done this kind of thing with Brandon in the past. Anything different sort of twist to this one this year?
Not a single twist. None.
But he loves talking about these plays, does he not?
He does. The fact that he remembers them all very specifically. And one of his favorites was actually from his first year as a Red.
Oh, you're talking about going way back.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, that's not the way the
top plays of all time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what that promo should have said, of all time. I mean, we're talking now it's about some big league plays.
Yeah.
Right?
There's one his first year that he still remembers and is still in his top 5.
Okay. So he's giving you basically a top 5, or are there more than that?
We go through a bunch of them, but he does rank his top 5.
And I'm sure you were the one that was bouncing around, if I'm not mistaken, talking to a lot of Joey Votto's teammates about the season that the second half that he is having, which has just been, you know, I mean, this is baseball history stuff. That's a nice play by Mercer. Wow. To throw out Bourgeois, 1 away. I mean, his teammates, did you do some of those interviews, Jim? I don't mean to ask you right on the spot here, because I'm not sure who did. You probably did some of them, right?
Well, we mixed it up, yeah, but I was definitely standing there for all of them. And it is the reaction of his players. I mean, Todd Frazier, we aired, he said this is like Little League stuff. I mean, these numbers he's putting up is Little League. And Jay Bruce had a comment that there's a running joke in the dugout that when he's has an 0-2 count, which is often, say, well, he's got him right where he wants him, which isn't far off.
No, you're right about that. It's not far off at all. Well, Liriano so far through an at-bat plus, really toying with the youngster Suarez, a mixture of sliders, fastballs, change-ups down and away from him. Struck him out on 3 pitches his first time up. He's ahead 0-2 here. And there's that slider. Boy, that is one nasty pitch when he has it working.
Well, if you're going to have a signature pitch, this is what it should look like. As the hitter sees it as a fastball middle end, there it is. No, it's not.
Here's Joey, count of 1-0, and now 2 balls and no strikes. He was hit by Liriano just above the right elbow his first time up. Votto not leaving that batter's box. He's staying with both feet right in there, hands on knees, and now grips the bat with the right hand, and he's ready to go. 2-0 pitch. Pretty good pitch right there.
It's tough to pull the trigger on that when it starts at your front hip.
Two to Votto. And he started 2, was able to lay off that slider down and away, running the count full. If you're just joining us, a scoreless game through the front 2, but in the top of this third inning, a double by that man, Liriano, Started a 5-run, 5-hit inning for the Pirates against Raisel Iglesias. 2 out, nobody on, 3-2 to Votto. And borderline pitch. Liriano wanted the call, did not get it. So the beat goes on for Votto. He's been on both plate appearances tonight.
You look down at the Reds bullpen. Josh Smith still throwing and throwing hard. You wonder if the night is over for Raisel Iglesias.
Well, you know, Cowboy, we know they have to start watching their innings with Iglesias, who did not pitch professionally at all over the last 2 years. I mean, outside of the Arizona Fall League, and nobody's counting that. So, you know, there are just some games with all the additional arms you now have in that bullpen. They brought up 2 more relievers, Cingrati and Smith. If they pick a night, that you're going to go ahead and
why push the issue?
Yeah.
And granted, you said it earlier, and every starting pitcher, I don't care if you're Clayton Kershaw, Cy Young, or on this night Raisel Iglesias, you're going to have a rough day.
Brandon Phillips singled into left field his first time up. There's that changeup by Liriano. But when this guy's got it going on, now he doesn't throw nearly as hard with a fastball or with a slider as he did when he first came up with Minnesota, when he was behind Johan Santana. Had Liriano not got hurt that year, they have a legitimate chance to win the World Series, that Minnesota team, with that duo at the front of the rotation. Didn't happen. Made the playoffs a couple of years. Liriano got hurt. But man, when he has a changeup, the slider, and the fastball, and locating, because he can't get wild from time to time. But when they're all 3 working, this guy is as tough to hit as anybody in the league. And the numbers back it up.
That changeup slider combination, you can throw the fastball out. If you have those 2 working, forget about it.
Was that like a Southern Goodfellas sort of twang to forget about it?
I guess.
That's in there a strike. You know, you don't get a lot of that. You know, you'll get the New Yorker and the you know, forget about it. You know what I mean? But to have the Southern twist to it certainly is unique.
No, that's what I said.
You don't get that every day. Except right here when the Cowboys in the saddle at Fox Sports Ohio. Swing and a miss on that changeup. Boy, is that guy, when he's got it working. Woo! And a 3, 5-0 Pirates in front. All right, Reds fans, you can see Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips, and your Reds take on the Cardinals. A 4-game series starts day after tomorrow, Thursday night, presented by our very close friends from Cincinnati's very own Kroger. Enjoy Reds baseball, fireworks, giveaways, so much more over the weekend. Log on to Reds.com/tickets and check it out. Well, what a beautiful, beautiful night in Cincinnati. And it is a short night. First time in a long time we can say that about Raisel Iglesias, who has had such a spectacular run over the last 6 weeks. But tonight, that run comes to an end.
And when you've got a starter where you have to watch his innings, and that's exactly what the Reds have to do right now with Iglesias, on a night like tonight when it was obvious that things were not going to go his way, you get him out of the ball game. Live for another day.
Now, we saw Josh Smith earlier this season. As you mentioned, Cowboy, he had a couple of turns through the starting rotation, and the one thing I think that surprised everybody was his inability to throw strikes. You see 13 walks in 12 1/3 innings, and that was certainly not his MO coming up through the minor leagues.
I think that's one of the things that when he was sent back down, they prefaced with him. You have to pound the strike zone with all of your pitches, not just with the fastball. They're not going to chase that pitch in the dirt very often up here.
Jordy Mercer will lead things off. He bounced into a fielder's choice ending the second inning. Back then it was 0-0. Now it's 5-0 Pirates. 8 came to the plate, 5 had hits, 5 scored in the Buccos' third inning. Smith ready now for the 1-2 pitch. And that's strike 3 call. 92 miles per hour, knee high, outside corner. Good pitch.
Pitched Mercer a little backwards there. Breaking balls for strikes early. Came back with the heaters late. Watch the movement on this pitch. It starts just off the edge and comes right back to the center of the middle.
You know, you look back on game-changing at-bats in every game, especially when you're the starting pitcher on the short end of the scoreboard. And it's against this guy, which is where, you know, Iglesias may look back and wonder what happened. That one popped up. He fell behind Liriano. You may remember leading off the last inning, 3 balls and no strikes. Threw him a strike and then actually threw ball 4. But Liriano jumped all over it, tomahawking it into the seats on one bounce in right center field, propelling the Pirates to a 5-run inning.
Well, and a lot of young pitchers have a tendency when the pitcher comes to the plate, because you don't want to walk him. So they have a tendency to back off velocity a little bit and just try to aim the ball. And that appeared to be what Iglesias was doing there. The fastball was 88. 89, whereas we saw 95, 96 in the first 2 innings, and that ended up being a fire starter. You get the pitcher aboard, and all of a sudden the top of the order's back up there with no outs. Things got a little ugly.
So a good start for Smith here in the 4th in his return to the major leagues. He retires the first 2 batters, and now it is Polanco. He knocked in the first of the 5 Pirate runs with a bullet just beyond the reach to the right of Brandon Phillips. Phillips actually got a glove on it and slowed it down enough, which allowed Liriano to score from second base. Liriano was more than prepared to stop at third, but they just told him to keep on coming. Rick Sofield, their third base coach, said, let's get going. Ball 1 strike on Polanco, and a good looking breaking ball there. if you're Josh Smith, Cowboy, and with 2 strikes and 2 outs in an inning, perhaps we'll save it until the next inning. You know, how are you approaching this offseason in looking ahead to 2016?
Well, I think if you're any young pitcher from AA to the big leagues, you should view it as, this is my golden opportunity. I got a chance to make the club out of spring training if you pitch well. And if you don't think that, you're not going to get here anyway.
That's a good breaking ball again on a 2-2 pitch, down and away. Gets Polanco to pop it up, in a nice inning by Smith. Retires his side in order. Reds will bat in the 4th, trailing 5-0. Further by Meyer. Find more for a healthier you at Meyer. By Duke Energy, delivering more than just electricity, it's power for your life. And by Cincinnati Children's, ranking 3rd in the country on the U.S. News and World Report's best children's hospitals in America. And as we do every night, we wish those of you a pleasant good evening watching tonight at Cincinnati Children's Hospital, and hope you've had a great day today, and we pray for a better one tomorrow. Todd Frazier flied out to center, leaving 2 aboard, ending the 1st inning. He leads things off here in the 4th.
We know how much Frazier can get to the fastball, but you see the turnover change here. Watch the full front of Frazier's jersey back at you, and he caught it off the end of the bat and just a routine fly into center field. That's why a changeup becomes such a weapon, especially for a left-hander against a right-hander, because the ball is running away. You see it as a hitter, as a fastball, and you run out of bat. All you need is one of those every once in a while. That fastball inside, and it's just a teaser. Now, if you're Liriano, you can go to 2 different places. You can go back away with the changeup, or you can come down and in with that hard slider, following off the same plane of the previous fastball.
Well, they went with a changeup away, and Frazier able to foul it off.
Well, that time it appeared Frazier kept the shoulder closed just a little bit more, even though that ball crept off the plate a little bit.
Doubles up on the change.
See how far he can chase it out there. You saw that pitch was a good foot off the plate. If he'll chase one 3 or 4 inches off, let's see if he'll chase one 8 to 12 inches off.
Well, let's see if he goes 3 in a row there or comes back with a slider. Slider missed inside. So he got ahead. He's tried to get Frazier out with changeups and now the slider. And we'll see what he does on 3 and 2. Come and change, it looks like, again. Nope.
Slider.
Now the slider. No, actually threw the change there. And that got a big part of Cervelli, and he is in some pain. You don't see catchers laying down like this unless they really got it.
Looked like a backdoor slider, and that one caught him right flush off the knee that was on the ground. There was no movement or no give in the movement of the knee. Catches the left knee, and boy, that's like taking a ball peen hammer to the forehead. You have so much gear that you have on, and that ball doesn't care. It still hurts, and it is still painful.
You know, his catching gear is a little bit different than most others. It's almost as though it has an extra plate above where the top of the knee would normally be. I tell you, Cowboy, I've often wondered, and I'm sure there are a lot of companies out there that do work and, you know, try to look at different ways for protection for catchers and the equipment and so on and so forth. But, you know, the equipment really hasn't changed a lot.
Well, it's lighter because we've had great technological advances in something like Kevlar. You're talking about putting that on pitchers' hats that they wear onto the field. Get the same type of advancement in the technology that goes into catcher's gear. But when you take a ball that's square, it's the nerves that take the blow and almost paralyzes the bottom of your leg, as you could see there with Cervelli.
He's going to stay in there. Man,
there's a changeup.
This guy's got it working, and he really has it working tonight. 6 strikeouts.
Backdoor slider on the previous pitch and comes back with the changeup. And you can see where this pitch is. That is the perfect pitcher's pitch, perfect location.
They're going to have to get Cervelli out of this game. I mean, this is just a waste of time. They got to get this guy out of the game now.
He is scuffling.
I know he's a tough guy. Every catcher's a tough guy. But
trying to walk it off a little bit, but it's just not happening.
No.
And the thing about those nerves around the knee, Tom, once you impact them, it takes a pretty good bit of time. It's not like you're going to have 2 or 3 pitches and all of a sudden it's going to be fine. What it does is it makes the muscles not fire. It's hard to squat. It's hard to stand up. Imagine if he had to come up throwing with a runner going from first to second base.
I don't know, Cowboy. Look, I'm not the manager. I'm not the trainer. To me, this is senseless.
And I imagine
this is ridiculous.
I imagine Clint Hurdle is saying, look, I appreciate the toughness.
They have 2 extra catchers right now with the rosters being expanded. But again, you know, Cervelli tells the manager, I want to stay in the game.
And he's going to stay in the game. He's their #1 catcher. Now, they may get back into the dugout and shut this thing down. But I think they'll watch the movement of Cervelli behind the plate, see if things get a little bit better, and hope he doesn't take another one off that knee.
Two balls and a strike to Jay Bruce. Bruce had a nice piece of hitting his first time up. Pitch away from him and just served it into left field. And you can see Liriano still has more than enough on that fastball. Consistently 92, 93. That one 94 miles per hour.
Well, if you're Liriano right now, you just don't want to get sloppy. You've got a 5-run lead. You just want to continue to make crisp pitches, especially on the first pitch, stay ahead in the count, put the onus on the Reds.
Line to the first baseman, Ramirez, 2 away in the inning. I mean, Cervelli is just, it's painful to watch. He got out behind the plate, started walking as though he were going to walk out in front of the dirt area, and just had to stop.
You can see a running conversation with both James Hoy and Cervelli behind the plate. Chris Stewart, that's the backup catcher, caught in yesterday's game. He had trouble right there just getting up from the knees back into the crowd. This is what I'm talking about, though, Cowboy. I mean, look, nobody knows their players better than Clint Hurdle. He has just done an incredible job here in Pittsburgh. But this is one of those moments where it doesn't matter what the player says, because you will kick yourself from now until November if this guy takes another foul ball off the knee and all of a sudden you don't have him for the next month. Right.
So you're ahead 5-0.
And they may make that change when he comes back to the dugout. But I'd much rather want to have a player that wants to stay in there than one that wants to bail.
Well, there's no doubt about that. That's a debate that's gone on really since sports started. Ultimately, being the quote-unquote tough guy and wanting to stay in the game. If something were to happen, are you doing your team any good by staying in the game? Because you're clearly not playing at 100%. As Duvall is hit by the slider. And the inning will continue.
Starts that slider over the inside corner, and it just kept coming. Caught the outside front knee of Adam Duvall. I think ultimately it comes down to the manager knowing his player.
Yeah.
There are some guys that whine about every single thing, whether it's from a hangnail to getting smoked in the head. But then you have a guy like Cervelli that he'll take multiple balls off the mask. Looks like he needs to go through concussion protocol, and he wants to stay in the ball game. So you have to kind of balance that a little bit.
Well, Paul Lessard checking on Duvall, and Brian Price comes out and wants to hear through Paul Lessard what Duvall had to say. Duvall's going to stay in the game. This half inning must feel like a month for Cervelli back there. He took the foul ball off the knee, the first batter in the inning. Short left field, and a nice running play by Marte will end the inning. We've played 4, and the Pirates lead 5-0.
Continue to update some of those pitchers down on the farm, and a great way for some pitchers to end their regular seasons. It's our IGS bringing the energy. Cody Reed, one of the 3 left-handers that came from Kansas City in the Cueto deal, Southern League pitcher of the week in 2 starts, 14 innings, just 2 runs. Neither were earned. 17 strikeouts and 2 walks. It's the 3rd time this season he's had that honor. And Seth Varner at High A, Daytona, Florida State pitcher of the week, 2-0, 12 innings pitched, no earned runs, 13 strikeouts, and he is riding a 19-inning scoreless streak. That Daytona team in High A, they are in the playoffs, and their game delayed tonight. They're just getting underway with Amir Garrett on the hill, and we obviously wish Daytona all the luck in the world in the playoffs.
Sure do. And, you know, Cowboy, you just touched on something in reference to Josh Smith a moment ago about if you're a young pitcher in the Reds organization, the opportunity, or plural, which will present themselves unless the Reds do something that none of us see coming, and that's go out and spend a lot of money on a bunch of free agent pitchers, which nobody believes is going to happen. Spring training next year could be, you know, pretty interesting to watch, with all of these young pitchers getting a bona fide shot to be in the Reds rotation or
in the
mix for the bullpen. And ball hammered into left field by Marte. Boy, the ball just jumps off his bat, doesn't it?
It is tonight. Yeah, I think early in spring training, especially seeing the conditioning and how guys are throwing as they come into camp, I think a lot of the youngsters should be game ready when they get to camp. Now, normally, that's not the case. You want to kind of work into spring training, but there's a lot at stake for some of these young guys coming into spring training for next year. And a lot at stake here in this last month.
Yeah, but then you get into the whole debate, and it's been said in baseball for years and years and years, as they pick off Marte. Oh, how in the world did they not get him? Maybe Joey didn't get the tag down.
Oh, he got back.
Oh, he got back. All right. But, you know, getting back to, you know, the old baseball axiom, don't you dare try and draw conclusions from spring training. And don't you dare try and draw conclusions from September.
Well, I think some of that can be different from a hitter standpoint and a pitcher standpoint, depending on when that is. For pitchers, September, I don't usually like to draw conclusions. Spring training, a different story. If you come into spring camp and you're pitching game on and you're ready to go when it's time to break camp, I'm all for it. Now, hitters are the ones that can really fool you in spring training, especially early, because if you're a dead fastball hitter and you're a youngster that hasn't seen a whole lot of breaking balls throughout your career, you're going to do pretty well in the early part of spring training, because most of the veteran pitchers throughout baseball, that's what they're throwing. The number one to get the arm stretched out.
All right, but let me ask you this, and, you know, picking up on the point you're making about from a pitching standpoint. Now, could the case be made that, you know, if you're a young pitcher, and we're getting a look at these young Reds pitchers, you're facing bona fide big league hitters, and you're facing them for as many innings as you're out there. They're not getting one AB and working on a few things and coming out of the ball game. Could the argument be made that maybe you could learn a lot more in September about some of these young pitchers?
I think it depends on the team that you're playing. I think that for a lot of the young pitchers, if you're playing teams that are out of it and they're playing, and we're talking about September now. If you're playing teams that are out of it, let's say we're playing the Brewers.
All right, but let's use this case like now with the Reds. The Reds are playing of their final, well, let's back it up. You know, when they had 40 games left in the season, 33 of them were against teams that were in the playoff hunt.
I think you can draw some conclusions there. I think that's the part that you can draw. But as you move closer towards the end of September, teams like the Pirates, the Cardinals, they may be playing some of their call-ups to give them a chance. It depends on the lineup that you face.
Well, Smith and Iglesias are clearly getting the Pirates A lineup here tonight. McCutchen swings and fouls it out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pena was charged with a pass ball. allowing Marte to advance on to second base a moment ago. Smith had a 1-2-3 fourth in relief of Raisel Iglesias, and now here in the fifth, a runner at second with nobody out. McCutchen is struck out. That was with a runner at third and only one out, but he more than made up for that. With 2 on and none out in the third, he hammered one to the seats in right field. One and two on McCutchen. You know, we've seen so many of these young Reds pitchers already. Lorenzen was up, sent back down, recently came back up. Iglesias, DeSclafani, if there is such a thing that is a mortal lock to be in the rotation next year, he might be the only one.
Well, he would be the one guy, and I would say Iglesias to a certain point, that would get a mulligan if spring does not go well. Now, if April follows a bad spring, that's a different story. But I think for a guy like DeSclafani, the way that he's pitched this year, I think you could pretty much pencil him in to that starting rotation. I think the same could be said about Raisel Iglesias, simply because you're looking at Iglesias in a point in the season where he's got to handle some fatigue, and I think we saw a little bit of that tonight.
Well, then you start looking at guys like Lorenzen, talking about starters now.
Right.
Moscott, Lamb. You know, those guys were higher up in the system than the next sort of wave of Travieso, Stevenson now at AAA, Amir Garrett coming on strong.
Well, the beginning of spring training, there are a lot of innings to be had, depending on how you throw. The only way that you can stay in big league camp is to continue to throw the ball well and be dominant early in spring training. Now, DeSclafani and Raisel Iglesias will get a mulligan in that territory. But some of these other youngsters that you're talking about, they better come ready to party.
Oh, and to the count on Aramis Ramirez.
Because you know as well as I do, once you get to that March 15th mark, innings get really scarce because you're trying to stretch out your starters. You're trying to get your bullpen guys ready to go. Come to camp ready to pitch, game ready.
Tapper down to Frazier. He'll look the runner back and throw out Ramirez, 2 away in the inning. Coming up later on, we'll have our Miller Time moment. It's brought to you by Miller Lite.
This is another guy. Whenever the Reds face Jung Ho Kang, the ball jumps off his bat as well. He's got that big high leg kick, but he seems to be able to get it down with some pretty good timing.
They better be careful on this pitch right here. 2 balls and no strikes. Good pitch. He was looking 2-0 fastball and didn't get it.
He was. Got a slider off the plate.
Two balls and a strike on Gunn. And there's another slide. That's a pretty nice pitch.
Now the key is, does Gunn change his thought process? Okay, I've missed 2 out there. Am I going to take a 2-strike approach to shoot the ball the other way? Or am I going to jerk my hips and shoulder out and try to hit this into the second deck as I did on the first 2 pitches? Because we've seen him rifle him into right center.
Strike 3 call. Fell behind 2-0 and came back with 3 consecutive breaking balls to ring him up. 2 scoreless innings for Smith. With Christine Sheltown and Mo Egger from 700 WLW. They'll be at the Holy Grail. You have a chance to answer Reds trivia, win prizes, be part of Reds Live. Christine and Mo hanging out Friday night at 6 over at the Holy Grail on the Banks. Well, look at this guy. I mean, we talk about how tough these catchers are all the time. It is just amazing. The day in and day out beating, and it doesn't matter if you're an everyday guy. Makes a big difference when you're an everyday guy as opposed to the backup guy, because you're going to get beat up with more frequency, of course. But these guys are just amazing. And Cervelli is standing there behind the plate. Strike 1 to Christopher Negron, just brought back up from the minor leagues officially tonight.
I told my son he wanted to put all that stuff on because he thought it looked cool to get behind the plate. After that first inning when he was sweating bullets not to pass out back there, I said, that's why Daddy told you don't put that on ever.
Yeah, I can't get my son from behind the plate. I coach his team, and that's all he wants to do is catch.
Well, that's how you separate them, because when you put them back there and they come back, oh, Daddy, it's high. Well, then you put them out there at shortstop.
I wish my guy would come back and say, Daddy, it's hot.
But that's the difference. It's just a mentality. There's some kids that's what they want to do.
Soft liner by Negron, and it's caught 1 out in the inning. Carlos Contreras, just recently brought back up from the minor leagues, is throwing now. A nice job by Josh Smith today, Cowboy. He goes 2 innings. He allows only 1 hit, strikes out 2, does not walk a single batter. No runs.
The key for Smith today, he was able to throw his secondary pitch for a strike pretty much at any time. He could start it. He could throw it late in the count. He threw it 2-0, 2-1, and then 2-2 to Jung Ho Gong and set him back to the dugout. If you're a one-pitch pitcher, you better throw about 110. And even then, they'll probably catch up to it sooner or later.
Good for Josh Smith. I mean, because his first couple of outings were very disappointing for him. All the walks. But a good effort tonight out of the bullpen. Speaking of a good effort, I don't know what is in the water in St. Louis, but the Cubs, after blasting the Cardinals 9-0 yesterday, Anthony Rizzo has hit a 2-run home run. Starlin Castro has hit a 3-run home run. That's against Michael Wacha. It is 6-0 Chicago. I tell you, I don't know about their starting pitching, Cowboy. I don't know about their bullpen in some spots, and they'll get some guys healthier here soon in that bullpen. I don't know if you agree with me on this or not as Bourgeois taps out, but I'll tell you right now, if I have to have one lineup among the three teams, the Cubs, the Pirates, or the Cardinals, I'll take that Cubby lineup all day, every day.
Yeah, they seem to have a bit of just the ability to handle the pressure, especially late in the game. I was so impressed by watching the kid that played. He played third. He played out in the outfield. Chris Bryant's who I'm talking about. Not the home run ball. That doesn't impress me because there are a lot of guys that can do that. But the ability to change his swing in a crucial situation with a runner at second or a runner at third, hit a fly ball into right field, get a jam shot base hit. Just the fact that he's able to recognize that's something that he needs to do. We're talking about a first-year player.
Yep.
He's a guy that the Cubs want to come to the plate when the game's on the line, and he's a kid. That tells you something about that boy. Baseball player.
I mean, you know, we get asked all the time when you're bouncing around town, hey, you know, what do you think is going to happen in a playoff? You know, that kind of thing. I don't know. There's just something about that Cub team this year that I've never felt about a Cub team, even going back to when I was announcing their games, and even when they had some nice teams and a nice run, getting to the LCS in 2003, some playoff teams after that. There's something different. Just for me, I don't know what it is. I can't put a finger on it. They've just got a good vibe about them. They're not afraid. Gone swinging is Suarez. 1-2-3 in the fifth. 7 strikeouts for Liriano, and it's 5-0 Pirates. This Sunday, take advantage of exclusive ticket offers. I mean, we've got face painting going on here, live mascot races, games, and so much more. Kids 14 and younger receive a Homer Bailey poster this weekend thanks to PNC Bank. Reds and the Cardinals this Sunday. Christopher Negron will stay in the game in left field. You wonder if Duvall's okay after getting hit by the pitch. Now they batted for him, so they just leave him in the game.
And I would imagine this is as much getting Negron an opportunity You get a guy that's hitting the left leg. There's no reason to leave him out there when you have a chance to double switch anyway. With Carlos Contreras coming on, that's exactly what the Reds are doing.
Neil Walker to start things off against Carlos Contreras. Contreras up and down. Less than a handful of times, but he certainly is familiar with that route from Cincinnati to Louisville, Kentucky. He retired all 6 batters in the 7th and 8th innings. The back end of that day-night doubleheader Saturday. He strikes out Walker to open up the 6th inning with the Pirates in front 5-0. All 5 Pirate runs came against Raisel Iglesias in the 3rd inning.
Back-to-back changeups. See him turn that ball over. Walker way out in front of that one, as he was the previous finish.
The only month Contreras did not spend some time with the major league team this year was the month of August. Came up at the end of April, hung around till mid-May, was brought back up in mid-June, stayed for a month till mid-July, and then just recently brought back up. There's a strike. Little giddy up on that fastball at 95 from Carlos.
Especially following an 82-mile-an-hour changeup. That ball doesn't look 95. It looks 105 after an 82-mile-an-hour pitch.
.95 again, but misses high. 2-2 on Cervelli, who's walked and struck out.
I think in this month, you and I were talking earlier about August and September and the younger pitchers. I think what the Reds would like to see is some of the guys that were here earlier struggled a little bit. They sent them down. They bring them back. Contreras would be one of those guys. You want to see a little bit of change. You want to see some type of adjustment, whether it be breaking ball for a strike, change up for a strike, more strikes, down in the zone, whatever that may be. But ultimately, you want to see outs and quick outs, and not full count strikes or full counts every time you come to a batter coming to the plate.
Came right back with a fastball up in his zone, and Cervelli swings and misses. Back-to-back strikeouts for Carlos. Now, you know, the one guy who did that really well initially, in fact extraordinarily well, was Jumbo Diaz.
Right.
Now, the last handful of times he's had, you know, some bumps in the road, but his earned run average was closing in on 7 after 25 appearances early in the year. They sent him back down. Since he's come back up, that ERA was in the 1s just until a hiccup or two. Now it's in the low 2s.
I think the key for Jumbo Diaz is concentration. Whether the game is 7-2 or whether it's 2-1, you have to be the same guy. You can't go out there and try to throw it 105 miles an hour when the game's 2-1, because you don't throw 105. You've got to locate your fastball, throw your breaking ball for a strike. When he does that, he's virtually unhittable because he has great stuff. But it goes back to the mental aspect of this game. If you try to throw it through the backstop, you're not going to be around here long. And I say this many times, there's a reason that they call the guy in the middle there on that hump a pitcher, not a thrower. You are a pitcher. Change speeds, throw strikes, have something besides a fastball that you can get over the plate.
That fastball runs up and in on Mercer. 3 balls and a strike. And he walks Mercer with 2 outs. And nobody on here in the 6th.
When you get 2 quick outs, your thought process on the mound should be, all right, I am about to slam the door in your face. It should not be, oh, thank goodness I got the first 2 guys. I sure hope I can get the. You can't think like that. You cannot do it.
Now the pitcher Liriano, he started the 5-run rally in the 3rd inning with a double to right center field. He popped up to short in the 4th inning. He has scored a run. Pirates in front 5-0. Liriano working on a 2-hit shutout. And this will be an infield hit for Liriano off the body of Contreras, and he's limping around in some pain. Terry, Liriano's up there to swing that bat now. He has hit the ball very hard twice. Steve Bauman, the assistant trainer to Paul Lassard, already at the base of the mound, checking on Carlos. Looks like got him in the upper thigh.
Either thigh or right on the outside of the hip.
The first multi-hit game of Liriano's career here tonight. We mention the trainers all the time, and rarely do we ever talk much about them. Steve Bauman is now in his 11th season as the assistant athletic trainer. Took over that spot back in 2004. Worked his way up now. Been with the Reds since 1999. Interned, worked at the rookie level Billings for 3 years, went to Double-A Chattanooga, Triple-A Louisville, worked in the Fall League. He's a native Cincinnatian, by the way. Graduated from the University of Cincinnati and makes his year-round home here.
He's paid his dues.
Yes, he has.
And I would say that the Reds training staff has been busy. Not only Paul Lassard and Steve Bauman. I think Christy Sweeney from Dr. Krimchek's office is the one that's handling all of the rehab for the guys. She's got her hands full.
Well, she's awesome.
Tomas Vera down there as well. You hope swings like that, the ball goes foul.
Paul Lassard was an interesting hire, and I was there when Buck Showalter plucked him out of the collegiate ranks. This was a guy who was not an athletic trainer at the, he was in the Yankees organization for a little while, but then became a college guy for a long time. That's where Buck originally met him in the Yankees. But he hired him in Arizona. There's a bouncing ball down to first to end the inning. Reds are down 5-0.
Well, he's being Joey Votto. 27th game now, reaching base safely after getting hit by a pitch in the first and walking in the third. 410 average over that stretch. And his walks in the second half, well, he's at 65 now, bettering his own record by 1. Adam Dunn, Barry Larkin also on that list, but an on-base machine does Votto continue to be.
And Jim, I know you get a chance to talk to him pretty regularly, and you know, he's had some marvelous runs in his career. I mean, he's been one of the best hitters in baseball really since he burst onto the scene coming up through the Red system. But you know, in your conversations with him, does he feel like this is the best run he's ever been on? Statistically, certainly would tell you that, but that doesn't always mean with a guy like Votto that that's the way he feels about it.
I have actually asked him that very question, and he really won't give a definitive answer because I think he's scared to make any comparison to 2010 because he was just unconscious in 2010, that MVP year. But the run since the All-Star break, and others have commented on it, even Brian Price said this is the best that they've seen him in this stretch, not a full season, but just a month or two stretch. This is the best they've seen.
Well, there's no doubt about that. I mean, it's actually, you know, been longer than that. I mean, you go back to the middle of July is when the All-Star break hit. So you're working on really 2 months. And there you see nearly a 400 batting average, an unbelievable on-base percentage, second best in baseball in slugging percentage.
And not only is it a tremendous stretch, but it answers a lot of questions that folks had in the last year and a half. Is Votto going to be able to come back from the knee issue? I mean, there was some serious concern about that. I think he's answered a few questions with the way he's hitting the ball now.
There's strike 3 called on the inside corner. I don't think he agreed with that from James Hoy a little bit. 8th strikeout of the night for Liriano.
Well, especially when you see that pitch called a strike after some of the pitches we saw early that were not strikes, and you can see it on Fox Tracks there. That pitch from Raisel Iglesias early in the ball game was not even given notice.
You're right.
And there were 7 or 8 pitches that not only were in that proximity, that little circle was on the line.
Brandon, a single and a strikeout. Liriano has fanned 8, and we're only 1 batter into the bottom of the 6th inning. 5-0 game. All 5 runs scored in 1 inning. That was a Pirate third against Raisel Iglesias. And that little pop-up, little sand wedge will drop in front of the right fielder Polanco, and Brandon now 2 out of 3.
Cutter down and in, that hard slider in on the hands. Watch Brandon swing here. He has to almost clear the hips and just drop the head of the bat just to make contact.
And no strikes on Todd Frazier.
Now Liriano has gone after Frazier with an abundance of changeups early in this ball game, at least for the first 2 at bats. But those last 2 pitches were fastballs down in the zone.
underneath the strike zone. There's a backdoor slider right on the outside corner.
Two-one delivery. And a fastball he went around on the appeal, says Bill Welke, the crew chief. And now the 2-2 coming to Frazier. Frazier out of there on strikes. And now 9 of those in a game tonight for Liriano. You know, baseball is really an interesting game at so many levels, but you know, you just look no further than Jay Bruce or rather Todd Frazier and Joey Votto. Now, I'm not in any way, shape, or form comparing them as hitters. We all know that Votto is a better hitter than Todd Frazier. Frazier knows that. But what I'm getting at is, you know, Joey Votto had like 3 runs batted in the month of May. He batted in the 230s, I think, that month. I mean, he couldn't get anything going. It wasn't until he found that flaw in his swing, whatever that was, while the Reds were on that final road trip leading up to the All-Star break. Frazier was among the most productive offensive players in all of Major League Baseball April, May, June, and the first 2 weeks of July. And now here over the last 2 months, they are going in completely different directions. It's just extraordinary to watch and believe they're the same players.
Ultimately, as a player, whether you're a pitcher or whether you're a hitter, you're going to have really low spots. You're going to have the highest of high spots. The object is to try to stay out of those low spots as much as possible. And the only way to do that is to dissect your swing or dissect your pitching mechanics and know where your holes are, whether you be a hitter or whether your weaknesses as a pitcher. If you know what your strengths and your weaknesses are, and we as athletes have a tendency to just want to say, okay, my strength is I can hit the ball out of the ballpark or I can throw 100 miles an hour. Well, if you don't know where your weaknesses are, then you're going to have a problem and you're going to struggle. And when you struggle, sometimes you can't find your way out of the fishbowl.
And of course, no one is more maddening to watch over the course of what has been a really good career. I don't know if I'd border great career. It's been a really good career for Jay Bruce. And he talks about that all the time, that, you know, he's tried to cut down on the length of the lows and, you know, ride the highs as long as you can. That's a swing and a miss, the 10th strikeout of the game for Liriano. He stands aside around a single in the 6th. After a double by Liriano led off the third inning in a scoreless game. He would score on a base hit into right center by Gregory Polanco. After a single from Marte, McCutchen plays long ball to right. That made it 4-0. They would add a double, and a balk brought in a 5th run against Iglesias. And the way this guy's going tonight, 1 run might have been enough.
And it's not just been one pitch. It's been changeup, fastball, that nasty slider down and into the righties. Liriano, he's got it working.
First pitch swinging off the end of the bat, a sinking liner, and what a play made by Negron in left field. He might be hurt.
Might have knocked the breath out of him.
Guy is all out all the time, as we saw when he was brought to the big leagues last year. Just brought back up, playing in his first game since early in the season tonight.
I think he hurt his shoulder, left shoulder.
What a shame. Young man has battled through so many injuries in the minor leagues, trying to get to the major leagues. And a lot of times you'll see that shoulder on diving catches like this.
Same exact thing happened with Billy Hamilton, except it was the right arm. Your body is extended in that prone position and your arms are straight out. Your shoulder has nowhere to go. And your capsule and that muscle structure around the shoulder takes the brunt of the blow.
Continuing to work on Negron out there in left field.
You can see him flexing his hand, and a lot of pitchers will go through this time. When you have an injury to your shoulder, it's almost as though the nerve that comes out of the back of your head that runs down across the back of the shoulder, it paralyzes everything all the way down to your pinky finger. Feels like you hit your funny bone, except it's coming from your shoulder rather than your elbow.
An outstanding play made by Negron in left field. He's already replacing the starter in left field, who left with a bruised knee, Adam Duvall, after he was hit by a pitch from Liriano.
It looked like the sign from Brian Price was to bring Schumacher in. He's holding like left-handed hitter. That appears who it's going to be.
And a nice round of applause for Negron. If we get any word from the Reds clubhouse, we'll certainly pass it along to you.
This ball is tattooed now, and from a right-handed batter, it's hooking away from the left fielder. I mean, that is all out stretch. So all of the motion, the body, the weight of the body, everything on that left shoulder. And you could see immediately as he clutched his elbow to his side, there was a little bit of an issue. Let's hope it's just a little bit of an issue.
So it is indeed Schumacher now out in left field, and the batter is Andrew McCutchen.
Yeah, we've had a few of those this year. Had that with John Moscott.
Yep.
Diving back to the bag, hyperextending that shoulder. Same thing with Hamilton in center field, and it appeared to be the same type of issue there with Negron.
Yeah, people may not remember Moscott's was in a rundown play while the team was in Detroit. He wound up taking one of the throws in that rundown and was forced, when running the runner back to second base, to dive and try and tag him out before he got to the bag, and that's where he injured his non-pitching shoulder, thankfully.
You can raise your left shoulder or your left hand above your head, straighten out your elbow. There's only so far that arm is going to go backwards, but when your body is coming to the ground, it's almost a whiplash effect for your shoulder, that because your arm is totally extended.
Well, Carlos Contreras allowed a 2-out walk and a hit, but retired Polanco to get out of his 6th inning, his first inning, following 2 scoreless frames from reliever Josh Smith, all on the heels of a 3-inning effort. 5 runs allowed tonight. The first poor start in a long time by young Mr. Raisel Iglesias. Thus a 5-0 Pirate lead here in the 7th. Well, there is another wild game going on tonight between the Nationals and the Mets. The Nationals were leading the game 7-1. It is now 7-6 Washington. Matt Harvey went 5 1/3 innings in that game and allowed all 7 runs.
Got a lot on his mind.
Tapper down to third. That ball hit the cut between the dirt and the grass, and McCutcheon, I think, thought it was a foul ball, and he never left the batter's box, meaning a foul ball around the home plate area.
He's acting as though the ball hit off of his foot. No
Wasn't
chance.
anywhere near him. Or he just lost his footing. That's what it was. He fell down coming out of the box. So now Aramis Ramirez 0 for 3 in a game. You know, Cowboy, that whole Harvey thing is Steven Strasburg all over again, but with a twist or two, where you get now agents involved and what the team wants to do, and doctors involved, and what they think ought to happen based on pitchers coming back from a Tommy John surgery 1 year later. How long is the leash in regard to innings? Then you have a team, of course, like the Nationals were in 2012, where you're in the hunt.
But it was the team that shut down Strasburg.
Yes.
And I don't know that anybody in the front office for the Mets would have anticipated that they would have been at this point with Harvey in the season. I mean, he's pitched so well. And even though they have watched his pitch count, he's thrown 100 pitches, maybe just a couple of times, but he's pitching 7 or 8 innings. That's how effective that he's been. What do you do?
There certainly is no easy answer.
No, there's
for
not.
every point, there's certainly a more than valid counterpoint. Gone swinging is Ramirez. We're in the middle of the 7th inning. It's been all Pirates so far. Reds have 3 more cracks at them, down 5. Cardinals.com at bat. Get the at bat app right now. Well, 6 innings and up for Francisco Liriano. Strikes out 10, hits 2, walks 1, allows 3 hits, no runs. And with a 5-0 lead, they will hand the ball to Jared Hughes. Reds will send up Tucker Barnhart to bat for the pitcher Contreras. Sean Rodriguez now over at first base. That is his preferred position, Rodriguez. Saw him play shortstop, committed a couple of errors in the game yesterday. That's the way you used to wear your hair, about that long, didn't you? I mean, it wasn't far from it now.
It was pretty close. It was very close.
And you were commenting, you know, last night that if you could do it even now.
I'd do it.
You can't do it because you have a lot of hair. You would prefer to do it again.
Yeah, but
there's a 2-hopper to the shortstop. So would that be your
that's for the
respectability factor that is making that decision? Is that your better half?
That's for the young guys.
For the young guys?
Yeah, they can. They're on the field. They can wear it however they want. I've just decided that's not what I'm going to do anymore.
I tell you, you know, you ought to consider it during the off season.
Oh, believe me, I do. It's just not happening.
Now Brian Pena down a strike.
I can't make my kid cut his hair short if daddy's hair is hanging down his collar, you know.
Well, then let him wear his down to his collar.
Cannot do it. The school has a rule.
0-1 the count on Pena.
Sometimes you have to sacrifice for the greater good.
Yes, you do. There is very little doubt about that.
And I'm a father, and I will sacrifice for my children.
Now, would you wear that hat? You know, if it wasn't like the logo, the mascot of the Pirates. There's a base hit into right field by Pena. You know, I had my old football partner, the former Super Bowl winning head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, Brian Billick, wear a Grinch hat. You know those green ones that have the eyes on it and everything? Those things are sweet.
You talking about that hat right
wear
there?
them in the wintertime. I had him wear it on a telecast one day in football. Now, would you wear that in public?
You're kidding, right?
No.
Not a chance.
Oh, I bet you if it made your kids smile, I bet you did. You would do it.
I don't think I could do that in public. Now, we might close the door in the closet and say, all right, look at daddy with the hat. All right, we're done.
Well, we just got some bad news on Christopher Negron. It is a partially dislocated left shoulder. So they're going to have Dr. Kremchek and crew get down to business very early tomorrow morning to figure out kind of where you go from there.
Yeah, that's one of those things where you have to hope that there's not an issue with the injury with the labrum or the backside of the capsule. Never a good thing when it's termed dislocation.
I guess the good news, Cowboy, if there is any good news, it's not his throwing shoulder.
That's
so
correct.
You know, it's not one of those like Moscott. His wasn't either. Where all of a sudden, you know, they have to do X, Y, and Z, and you can't throw for a long time, especially if you're a pitcher, obviously,
right.
But even a position player. Reds have had really nice work out of their bullpen tonight following Iglesias. Smith and Contreras have combined for 4 innings of 3-hit shutout baseball with 5 strikeouts, 2 walks. Schumacher took over for the injured Negro and pulls this one fair up the right field line. And that's a live ball. On his way to third is Pena. They're going to hold him there on a double by Schumacher. Even if the ball hits a bad boy down there, it's still a live ball.
You got to go get it.
Let's see what it did hit down there. I don't know if it hit his stool or as he was getting up. No, it didn't hit anything. Just sort of died in that corner, didn't it? Maybe it hit
may have hit the guy behind him.
Yeah, behind him, right. Hope he's all right down there. May have hit his water bottle there on the ground. Well, now all of a sudden you're starting to get into an area of the lineup where you could find yourself getting back into this ball game. 2 on, 1 out. Bourgeois the batter, and then you have Suarez, Votto, Phillips, Frazier right on down the line. If you can get that far. We are only in the bottom of the 7th inning. So the Reds have some time, but they're first threat in a long time here as Bourgeois is now down 1 ball 2 strikes. In fact, this is the first time the entire game the Reds have had a runner reach third base. In fact, they've only had a runner reach second base 1 time. That was back in the first inning. That's how dominant Liriano was in his 6 innings tonight. Three and 2 on Bourgeois. Fair ball, and that's the second out of the inning. Brian Price is coming out to talk this over with James Hoy, the home plate umpire.
Well, if the ball hits the batter while the batter is still in the batter's box, it's foul. If the ball hits right on top of the plate and continues to stay fair, it did not appear to hit Bourgeois at all. It's that hard sinking fastball inside. You could almost see where Bourgeois hit it on the bat, just right above his hands. He ran it right in on his knuckles. Hit it straight down into the ground. That baby didn't go anywhere.
There's Eugenio Suarez. He's the happiest guy in the entire building that Liriano's out of there. Not that Hughes is necessarily any trip to the park, but Suarez struck out swinging each of his 3 at-bats tonight against the left-hander Liriano.
You can see where
hard ball there.
Cervelli is setting up. Hughes has that hard boring sinker in on righties, down and away to lefties, and Cervelli not going away at all. I mean, he is just coming in to see if you can hit it.
One more time and it's fouled away. Runners in second and third. Reds down 5-0, trying to get on the board. Suarez behind 0-2. And the inning is over. 4 straight strikeout for Suarez. 2 hits, 2 left. We're off to the 8th. Pirates still leading 5-0.
Happens on Reds Live, the pregame edition. It is brought to you by Ray St. Clair Roofing, 30 minutes before every game here on Fox Sports Ohio. 6:30 will be Reds Live tomorrow, and you will see this pitching matchup. Kivas Sampson on 3 days rest will go to the hill. And at least the announced starters right now, J.A. Happ, the lefty for the Pirates, as the Reds and Pirates close out this 3-game set. Big day today before the game, annual Picture Day. They usually wait for the September call-ups to get here. And there are a couple of rounds of pictures. They take pictures of the team, then the team personnel, and then they bring all the Reds employees out. There you see owner Bob Castellini in the middle. Bring all the Reds employees out in their civvies and take one giant big picture. Now, one guy that's not in there, this is going to be maybe a trivia question in the years to come. Who's not in that picture that should be? That would be Billy Hamilton. As he was making his way back from Pensacola, didn't make it in time for the picture. I have another question. Why aren't the play-by-play and color announcers in this picture? I think Marty B should be in there. The Cowboys should be in there. Tom, you guys should be in that picture.
I have a feeling most of the people would leave. Swinging a foul ball out of play. I think that would be a very bad idea. Yeah, those pictures though are cool. You know, when you're a little kid, you get that team picture. Oh boy, that's right. Man, when this guy unloads, he unloads. Holy Moses. Gung hit that one like King Kong. That's his 14th home run of the year. Colin Ballister just coming into the game, and that breaking ball just stayed right up there in his wheelhouse.
That's what we like to refer to as a cement mixer. It's just
cement mixer, right?
Yeah. Well,
no, but
it's a long E.
No, but there was also a difference in which syllable had more emphasis placed on it. So I just said a cement mixer, and you said a
cement mixer.
Cement.
Right. That's the stuff you pour out in your driveway.
I know what it is. Thank you.
Or right before you build your house.
So, do they answer the phone in Mississippi if you owned a cement company and say the name of it was Jones Cement, right? And you pick up the phone and
it wouldn't be Jones
them.
Cement. It'd be Jones Cement. And you pick up the phone. You say, I need 100 yards of cement, and I need it today.
But would they answer the phone that way? Jones Cement.
They might say Jimmy Joe's Cement.
There's a fly ball in the left. One away in the inning.
Or Jimmy Joe Jones Cement. Can I help you? How many yards you been eating today? Oh boy. It's 5-0. 6-0.
Yeah,
excuse me.
I know. Now
Gotta have a
remember
little levity.
The Reds acquired Ballister from these Pirates. He was pitching for their AAA team in Altoona, was having a really good year. But they didn't have anywhere for this guy in the bullpen, and the Reds made a deal for him, sent him to Louisville. That was a long home run by Gung, 447 feet. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cervelli, who just unbelievably has stayed in this game after taking that foul ball. If you weren't with us, it looked like the guy could barely walk. And the manager came out, trainer came out, they checked on him in between innings, and he has stayed in the entire game. has just walked for the second time tonight. Well, Saturday with the Cardinals in town, watch the Reds and the Redbirds game on Fox at your local Fox affiliate. Wherever that may be for those of you around Reds country. Gets underway at 12:30. And at 7 o'clock, switch over to FS1 for the Tigers and the Indians. You can watch both games only on Fox and Fox Sports 1 or streaming live on Fox Sports Go. We will not be televising this Sunday's game. So here on Fox Sports Ohio, we'll have the Cardinals series for you on Thursday and Friday nights. The Fox Network Saturday afternoon as Mercer lifts one to Bourgeois for the second out of the inning. And Pedro Alvarez will come up and bat for the pitcher, Hughes, who gives him an inning, 2 hits, a strikeout, no runs. Swing and a miss by Alvarez. 244 hitter, 22 home runs, 68 runs batted in. Two balls and 2 strikes on Pedro Alvarez. A home run by Gung starts this inning, taking a 5-0 game to 6-0. Well, what a nice sign that young man has turned out to be, coming over after playing in his homeland of Korea. He homers in the 8th. Pirates 6, Reds nothing.
Game. Don Moore from Cincinnati will win the beautiful new Tundra on display here at Great American Ballpark. You can register for your chance to win at an upcoming game by seeing one of your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. Don Moore from Cincinnati, good luck.
It'd be nice to ride that baby out of here, wouldn't it?
No doubt.
Josh Harrison, the pride of Cincinnati, Ohio, Princeton High School and the University of Cincinnati, checks in, and we'll get a little playing time out there at second base. Antonio Bastardo, a left-hander, comes on the pitch for the Pirates.
Bastardo basically faced the same 3 batters in last night's ball game. A couple of strikeouts and a pump up.
Back-to-back real nice pitches here by Bastardo. Fastball inside corner, breaking ball inside corner. Otto's been hit by a pitch, drawn a walk, struck out looking in the 6th. And Joey taking plenty of time to get back in that batter's box behind 0-2. Pulled to the right side, handled by Harrison, who just checked in. 1 out.
It's amazing how that ball will find you.
It is. Brandon Phillips 2 out of 3, a pair of singles, 1 to left, 1 to right, a strikeout sandwiched in between the 2. Strike 1. Unless the Reds can rally, they're down to their final 5 outs. We will go to the finale of this series with the series on the line. Kiva Sampson getting the ball for the Redlegs. He'll be opposed by Jay Happ. Reds have had their way with Happ. Now, we showed you the numbers a moment ago. Since coming over to the Pirates, he's really pitching well. But when they have faced him in the past, they've generally done pretty well.
It's amazing to see some of the, you don't want to call them retreads, but guys that have had difficult years. They come to the Pirates, they work with Ray Searage, their pitching coach, and all of a sudden they seem to find success. And that goes for guys in the rotation and in the bullpen.
Happ in his career against the Reds is 1-3 with an earned run average drifting near 7 in 6 career starts. They saw him most recently a season ago as a member of the Blue Jays and touched him up for 7 earned runs in 4 innings. Next year, you saw the schedule. Jim Day was talking about it, where the last year it was the American League East. Saw the Red Sox, saw the Yankees, etc. This year it's the American League Central. And next year, another trip out west, as they will head out there to play the Angels from Anaheim. And their other road trip inside that division would be against the Texas Rangers. That's a 2-game series there. Seattle and Oakland will come here, so too will the 2 games against Texas. And going back to Houston, that was always one of our favorite stops. Great ballpark,
great food. That's what I like. Forget about the rest of it.
And that is because, Cowboy, it is the only place in America where every night they serve
fried chicken live in Johnson.
That really is a great ballpark. You know, you're asked, I'm asked, we're asked frequently, your favorite city, your favorite ballpark, blah, blah, blah. I tell you, it is hard to find a better stop when the Reds go on the road. And unfortunately, we don't go there much at all anymore because they jumped over to the American League than Houston, Texas. And the fans are really none too happy about that entire move. It has always been a National League city. They are very upset the way that the whole thing played out, even all these many years later. They're drawing about a little more than 26,000 fans a game, but when you consider the size of that city, one of the 5 largest cities in the United States of America, when you consider the fact that they have an incredible ballpark where there's going to be a game every night, climate controlled game every night because they have that retractable dome, and of course you throw in the fact that this year they are running away or were earlier, they still are leaders. They are leading the American League West, and yet they're averaging slightly more than 26,000 fans a game. 1, 2, 3, 4, Bastardo. The 9th inning upon us. Pirates lead 6-0.
During Police and Fire Appreciation Night. Arrive early for special pregame ceremonies. Plus, stick around after the game for a post-game fireworks show presented by Corson Fire and Security. Tickets start as low as $12. Purchase today by calling 513-381-REDS, visiting select Kroger locations, or log on to reds.com/tickets. Now, we talked about Daytona and high A ball starting their playoffs tonight. And Amir Garrett, the promising lefty on the hill. And what a night he is having so far. He's got 6 innings in the books, 11 strikeouts, no walks, and Daytona is leading that game 2-0. And he's given up no hits so far through 6.
Ryan Matthews takes over on the mound. You know, this Amir Garrett is a very interesting guy, Cowboy. Left-hander, big, tall, throws hard. You know, a guy who almost every single one of these guys you see anymore, and you and I have talked about this, and really how baseball and all the other sports, I mean, whether you're talking about AAU basketball, these summer leagues in baseball, they've just gone over the top. As far as the number of games they're asking so many of these kids to play in.
Young kids,
and even as they move along. I mean, it's you talk to any doctor who's worth a hoot, and they'll tell you the reason they're seeing so many more injuries is because of all of the games and all of the innings and all the pitches and all the summer leagues, and go on and on and on and on. But that's for a different time. But point I'm making is every one of these guys that are out there on this field by and large right now, they were playing in those summer leagues. Amir Garrett was never one of those guys. He was playing
basketball,
the AAU basketball, as he played collegiately, of course. So, you know, some might say, well, the guy's 22, 23, and he's pitching in double A. Well, there's a reason why. He's just not been around baseball as much as everybody else. But, boy, what a year he is putting together, man. That ball stung into right field. Off the bat of Polanco, and he'll go in with a stand-up double off Matthews to start the Pirate ninth inning.
And I think one of the reasons that you haven't seen Garrett move even into double A, you want the guy to be able to develop, to have confidence in his stuff. You want him to learn the pitching aspect of the game. Then you can start to move him a little more rapidly. But right now, you got to have a basis for success, and I think that's really what the Reds are trying to give to Amir Garrett. I mean, he's having a phenomenal year. He's pitching in the playoffs. You heard the numbers tonight. You want him to have that champion mentality, to have something to fall back on when he struggles, because you are going to struggle sooner or later. But you want to have that confidence and knowing that you have the ability to get it done, and you can only do that by going through a full season.
You know what? Depending on how far they go in the playoffs, I think you can make a very strong case. In fact, I don't think it would be that much to win over the jury, that of all the pitchers that are coming up in the Reds organization, there's a ground ball short. Runner will stay put at second base. Now, minor league baseball or not, when you're on a minor league team and you make the playoffs, those are huge games, man. Packed stadiums, people into it, very much a playoff atmosphere. If that team continues to advance, Amir Garrett will have pitched in more of those quote-unquote big games than anybody else the Reds are going to have come into training camp as a young pitcher next year. Iglesias was a reliever pitching in Cuba. Lamb wasn't pitching in those kind of games in the Kansas City organization. Lorenzen certainly wasn't coming up with the Reds. So Garrett, you know, that young man has a chance to be perhaps a little more battle tested.
Well, I think there's something to be said for that, and I think you can look back to the kid that the Reds got in the trade with Brandon Finnegan, who they just called up to the big league. The reason that they were able to bring him straight from the College World Series to the big league World Series was because of being battle tested and pitching in big ball games. Now, granted, when you're about player development and you're trying to educate your players and teach them different things, you don't always get that championship opportunity. But I think this bodes very well for not only for Amir Garrett, but for a guy like Nick Travieso, who will pitch in that series, and a guy like Jackson Stevens.
Sure.
Who is an all-star in that league, by the way.
Low to McCutchen. 3 balls and a strike. Well, the Washington bullpen just continues to just fall apart, literally by the minute. Drew Storm came in, walked a bunch of guys, gave up a bunch of runs. And the Mets have come all the way back as McCutchen draws a walk. And he provided us, unfortunately, with our Miller Time moment of the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. That was a long home run to the seats in right field with 2 on. Knocking in 3 of the 5 the Pirates scored in that inning. hammered down the left field line off the bat of Rodriguez. This will bring in, if they want to, 2 more. They're going to throw up the brakes. They stop McCutchen, RBI double by Rodriguez. And that makes it 7-0 Pirates.
The Reds not only have Daytona in the playoffs, they've got Pensacola in the playoffs as well.
Yep.
So you've got an A-ball team and a Double-A team, both heading to the postseason in their respective leagues.
And Billings still has a chance depending on what happens today. You may remember they were a half game back with 2 to go. Well, when you're down 7-0, the fans are going to hoot and holler to try and get that 11th strikeout.
They're hooting and hollering.
And there it is, the 11th strikeout of the night. That's a good looking picture right there. Look like father and daughter still hanging here at the ballpark tonight.
She got a foul ball.
Good for her. And good for them. Still hanging. Harrison bats for the first time. The Nationals had Storen come in to try and protect a 1-run lead. He walked 3 batters, gave up a hit and a run, got 1 out. They hand the ball to Papelbon in a tie game, and he promptly gives it up immediately.
When they made the move to take Storen out of the closer role, that bullpen went south in a hurry.
I mean, that whole thing.
Maybe it was going south ahead of time.
Well, I guess Bryce Harper made some comments about the fans not sticking around. But when you start all of a sudden on the fans,
can't win that battle.
No. And apparently, very long game tonight. There's a line drive into right field, and that will end the inning. improvement needs, and by your local Toyota dealers, proud sponsor of the Cincinnati Reds. Well, the Pirates haven't needed their closer for a while, Mr. Brandling.
Yeah, it's amazing that Melanson has not been in a ball game since the 29th of August. And maybe some of that is by design. You look at the numbers for Melanson. I mean, he has pitched in a ton of ball games. You look at those saves, 43 out of 45 of the 63 appearances. So pretty much every time he's been out there, the game has been on the line. And maybe this is Clint Hurdle's way of giving him a little bit of a breather during those 7 days where they may not have needed him. But there's only so long you can go without a little bit of work to stay sharp. And that's what this would be termed as tonight, a little bit of work.
Cervelli will take the bottom of the 9th inning off. Stewart will take over for him. And boy, a tip of the cap certainly to Cervelli. Was drilled on the knee with a foul ball early. Was in tremendous pain. Stayed in the game up until now, and we're working on better than 3 hours in this 7-0 Pirate advantage as the Reds bat in the last of the night. Well, I tell you, I bet it's been tough to swallow that the last 2 nights in St. Louis at Busch Stadium. Normally they show up jam-packed, especially when the Cubbies are in town. And through many years, the Cardinals have, pretty much kicked the Cubs around. Well, last night 9-0, tonight 8-0 Cubs in the 7th inning. Bruce aboard, his second hit.
Yeah, that rivalry with the Cubs and the Cardinals, even when the Cubs weren't playing well, they were still very competitive with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Whether it be in Chicago or in St. Louis for that matter.
And it really escalated, much like it did once Dusty Baker came to Cincinnati. When Dusty went to the Cubs and he was going toe-to-toe with Tony La Russa again, regularly inside the same division. And then when Dusty came here, the same thing happened, of course, with Tony La Russa's Cardinals. Yankees lost tonight. Toronto is in extra innings 1-1. Toronto a half-game lead, a chance to go up a game and a half if they can beat Boston. Yvonne Jesus on a 2-0 pitch looks at a strike. Batting for the first time is Yvonne.
Does that say the 10th inning in Boston? Toronto in Boston?
Yes, sir.
Oh, Toronto to 1 run. That's,
you better believe that.
Especially for 10 innings.
The difference in the way National League teams draw compared to American League teams continues to really start to widen that gap. And I don't know if it's cyclical, if there's any rhyme or reason, but when you look at the difference, it's significant. National League teams as a whole are averaging over 32,000. American League teams almost 3,500 less per game. That's on average. Now you get into some of these monster ballparks and can be a little bit misleading, as there's a swing and a foul ball back. For example, all but 4 teams in the National League are already over 2 million in attendance. Only 4. And all 4, well, 3 of the 4 are going to get there. Miami probably not. There are only 6 teams in the American League that have reached 2 million. Everybody else, Baltimore will get theirs. De Jesus is gone. Seattle will get there. Minnesota will get there. Houston will get there, but a handful of others won't. Well, as promised, we give you our T-Mobile fan photo, and you can send yours. Hashtag Ohio Data Strong Fan. And Jenna, #1 Michael Lorenzen fan, she says. Very nice. So Jenna, thank you. Runner takes off for second base, as it's ball 1 to Pena. Fastball from Melanson, and there's strike 1-1.
This is almost a spot for Melanson where you have to create your own adrenaline. You're used to coming into the ball game in a safe situation, game on the line. You're elevated automatically by the game situation. But tonight, you have to play a little mind games.
We understand that Amir Garrett finally gives up a hit in the 7th inning tonight. Was working on a no-hitter in that playoff game. He still punched out 12, and Daytona still with a 3-0 lead.
Are they playing Clearwater? I think they are.
No, they are home against Clearwater.
Yeah. But I knew they were playing. I thought they were playing Clearwater.
Well, that has to be a Phillies franchise.
Yes.
Right? It's a nice ballpark.
And the thing that to be noted about that, there are very few pitchers that have pitched as well as Amir Garrett 3-4 times against that Clearwater club. They won the first and the second half. Clearwater did. But Amir Garrett, they don't like facing him. He has put it on them more than a couple of times. And it appears he's doing it again here tonight.
So far, so good. Still a tight game, though. Only the 7th inning. Knocked down by Melanson, but that will be a hit for Pena. Bruce advances on to third base. Following each and every Reds game, including tonight right here on Fox Sports Ohio, we invite you to stick around for Reds Live, brought to you by Performance Kings Honda. Jeff Piccoro standing by to make his way into the Reds clubhouse. You'll be the first to hear from the manager, Brian Price. Of course, Jim Day, I'm sure, will be hosting from a rather subdued Fox Sports Ohio condominium tonight. This one marches on. 2 on with 1 out, and Schumacher the batter. He doubled down the right field line his only time up. You know, you were talking about guys who, for whatever reason, come over from other organizations and seem to really thrive in recent years under the Pirates pitching coach Ray Searage. Here's a jam shot roller. They'll get one out. They cannot double up Schumacher, so the Reds are able to get on the board. Schumacher, the RBI, preventing the shutout. But no one, perhaps, has watched his career, and I don't mean turn around. I mean do a complete 180 like the man on the mound right now. He was a good pitcher with Houston, we remember. Solid setup guy, reliever. Ended up going to Boston. They had big hopes for him there, and I mean the wheels fell off. He was sent back to the minor leagues. You know, nobody wanted him. Pirates took a flyer on him. He came over and started to set up Jason Grilli when he was a great story in baseball a couple of years ago. He got a chance to be the closer and really was sort of shaky. But now given another chance to become their closer, and he has just been sensational.
Well, Melanson has always had good velocity on the fastball. He's always had that 12-6 curveball that he just threw there. But what made the difference for Melanson was cutting the fastball. He can do that in the strike zone. It's very short and quick, and it still retains the velocity of his normal fastball.
0-2 on Jason Bourgeois. 2 outs in the ninth. And a fastball high.
There are some pitchers that have to cut the ball to their glove side because they can't sink the ball to the arm side. Melanson is one of those guys. The ball, when it comes out of his hand, it's straight over the top. When it's a 4-seamer or a 2-seamer, straight as a string. When he started cutting it, he got dominant in a hurry. And dominance breeds confidence. And all of a sudden now he's at the back end of the bullpen.
Two and 2 on Bourgeois. Will not go down easily here. He fell behind 0-2, and now he's battled back to even. And the break-even pitch is too low. Three and 2 on Jason Bourgeois. Melanson not very sharp tonight.
Well, and this is what happens when you have so many days off. And the last thing Clint Hurdle wants is for him to sit out there and throw 40 pitches when he hasn't pitched in at least a week.
This will be our Skyline Chili call to the bullpen. Anaheim batting in the 9th inning. 2 are out. The Eugenio Suarez coming up. Archimedes Caminero takes over on the mound.
Pitched in last night's ball game. Walked the batter, got a double play immediately. That was Jason Bourgeois. All he needs to do here is just get one out. Red's trying to keep it rolling.
And a tough night for Eugenio. He has struck out 4 straight times, all swinging. 3 against Liriano and once against Hughes in the 7th. Hammered that ball, but foul. That ball shot in the gap in the right center field by Suarez. This will drive in a pair. And Suarez with a 2-run triple to make it a 7-3 game. They're probably going to have another pitching change.
Fastball down and away. Right before that pitch happened, Andrew McCutchen moved from shading towards right center field all the way over towards shading left center field. And it created a huge void out in that right center field gap. And Suarez just kept right on trucking.
Well, good for Suarez. I mean, after a tough night, no 2 ways about that. And they're going to leave in this right-hander to face Votto with right-handed hitters Phillips and Frazier next. They have a left-hander in their bullpen already, Watson, but Votto's hitting streak on the line. 10 in a row. Been hit by a pitch, drawn a walk. Struck out looking and then grounded out to second base his last time in the 8th inning. 0 and 2 to Votto. Reds down their final out, but they've scored 3 here in the bottom of the 9th inning. And that's the old ball game. Votto gone on strikes. His hitting streak over and the Reds winning streak is over. 7-3 the final. Reds Live is coming up next. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.